Welcome back to Profi Plays. I'm Profi, and this is, I think, what? I don't remember which episode, but this is the next episode. I think this is the second, actually. Maybe the third of the Black Sanctum of Sabucha, the Elemental, where we are seeking after the sword of Wahanid. Wahanid? However decide to pronounce that. It's been a while. Um, Honestly, we've been getting ready for me to start up the semester again because school year starts, um, where I am around August or so, and also getting my kids ready to start up as well. So I haven't had a lot of time to actually sit down, do some solo role playing, and record it, or actually sit down and do any solo role playing at all in that time. So you can see I've done in the interim, I've done some like how to solo RPG kind of videos, so that kind of thing. But I'm back to actually doing the soloing, so that those that want to see how I do this, here we are. So what I've decided to do this time, just as a reminder, is that I have used a random dungeon generator that you can find online, linked in the description, um, to generate this random dungeon that you can see the map there. And it also has descriptions of what is in each room. So last time that I was playing, we just came into the entrance here on, I guess that's the east side, came and then went north and hit room number 47 where we found a ghoul. We fought the ghoul, we won, and that was enough to get an XP for everybody, and that was that. Now next, I want to go down into room number 46. Um, Before I do that though, we are looking for the sword. So what I want to do is search this room to see if the sword is here. What I've decided to do here for my mechanic is fairly straightforward. That is, I'm going to roll a die, right, a d20, and if I happen to roll the number of unexplored rooms or less, then I have found the sword. Right now this is kind of implicitly assuming that the sword is actually here. I guess I will say, like, if I get to the last room and haven't found it yet, then maybe there's a 50-50 shot or something like that. Honestly, this is such a big dungeon, I will forget whatever I come up with by the time I get there. But I did not search room number 47, which is where I started, yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll a d20, and we'll see what comes up. That's a 9. If it had been I am also now, at this point, I have 56 rooms unexplored, so I am allowing one. If it's a one, I found it, even though I'm not that deep into the dungeon. 9 is clearly more than one, so nope, we did not find the sword here. So on into room number 46. So I'm gonna pull out my minis here. All right, and we'll lay them out. So I think it makes sense here for us. I'm going to send uh, Marv in first, followed by Phineas. So those are our two um, thieves. Then I think actually we'll put the halfling next, Vilbo. Vilbo Vagans, I assume. Followed by Helmut and Igor. I don't think anybody's super hurt at this point. Just looking at hit points. Like Igor is fairly weak, but he's always been weak. Vilbo's not bad. Yeah, Yeah, it looks like Helmut is the only one that has actually lost any hit points. Oh, okay. Between Marv and Phineas, Phineas should go first because Phineas has 10 hit points as opposed to Marv only having, well, Marv has 4 of his 5. So, yeah, let's send Phineas in first if he can actually take a hit. So we're going to go ahead and first thing I want to do is check for traps for this. Here we are. So Phineas is the one that's leading. So Phineas is going to check this door for traps. So find trap is at a +1 for him. That's a 10, which I would say, as long as it's not an extremely well hidden trap, would mean that he would find it. So room number 46. Let's check this door. The entry here, it's an unlocked simple wooden door, right? So we check for traps. We don't find any traps. It turns out there are no traps, right? So it's not locked, so we can just walk in. So I guess we will go ahead and do that. Right, so we walk in. Some features about this room: a wooden ladder rests against the south wall, and several corroded iron spikes are scattered throughout the room. There also happens to be a medium monstrous spider in this room. All right. So I'm gonna need to have something that'll act like the spider. I'm gonna check over here. Do I have something that'll be spiderish enough? I just have to use my generic tokens. Yeah, I just use a generic. Right. Spider. That's a spider. All right. So the spider is in the room. I'm going to say opposite the door, right there. So here's a question: did the spider notice Phineas, open and walk through this door? Maybe, maybe not. So what I think I'm going to do here, um, yeah, I'm just going to do this as a luck roll. Phineas is not very lucky. His luck. So remember the way this works. I have to roll a d20. If I roll five or less, then whatever would be lucky for Phineas is true. So five or less, and that 18 is definitely not a five or less. So yeah, the spider definitely noticed Phineas walk in. That means that we are in combat then. Cool. All right. So first thing I need to do, I need to find some stats for a spider. So I'm going to open up here, uh, my dear friend, the DCC book. Here are stats for a giant snake, a giant slug, skeleton, shroomman, subhuman, time traveler, troll lord, zombie, wolf. Yeah, okay, anything. A giant scorpion. That's not going to be far off. So I think yeah, I'm just going to retheme the scorpion here. Right. So while technically I'm using stats for a scorpion, yeah, they're related. Right. So I mean, I think they're both arachnids. At the very least, they're both arthropods of some kind. So yeah, we'll go with that. All right. So giant scorpion is what we're doing here. So it has an initiative of +3. I believe our highest initiative in our party is at a +2. So we're going to go ahead and roll. White is for the party. Red is for the scorpion. Let's see. Oh, and the party wins it. Cool. A 17 versus a 14. Okay, so let me jot down some stats here for our scorpion. The scorpion, no, it's not a scorpion, Professor. It is not. It is a spider. The spider. It is. Oh, wow. It'll last very long if they fight this. Okay, so what I just read, so a claw attack, right, which kind of makes sense to a leg whack you or something like that, is at a +12. +12, so it's gonna hit every time. And does a D6, I'm sorry, a D10 +4 damage. Yeah, they're all gonna die. So I think this means okay, and their hit dice it's 12d10 hit dice. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I'm like you just round that. It's 12d10 plus 12. So on average it's gonna be like 72 hit points for this thing. I think that the conclusion that I'm reaching is that we should just run. So it gets one attack in, and then I think Phineas is going to slam the door. Uh, try to block it somehow. So, well, okay, I mean, okay, the spider can't open doors. Okay, so I think we're okay if we just run. So let's go ahead and do that. So it gets one attack. Phineas is the one person that's there. It does have a move of 50, which means that it could move. It could definitely get there in time because it can effectively move 10 blocks, and it only has to move six. So it's going to go one, two, three, four, five. Right there we are, and then do that attack. So it's at a it's 12. And this is obviously going to hit, but yeah, we got to roll it because hey, it might be a fumble. Maybe we might get really, really lucky. So, and this is a 17 plus 12 would be a 29. Yeah, I think 29 is enough to hit. Sorry, Phineas. All right, and then I need a d10 to roll for damage, and it cut 4 to it. Oh, Phineas could just be dead. Okay. 2. Oh, wow, we got really lucky. We got super lucky there. All right, so Phineas says, run! And that is that. All right, so He slams the door, takes 2 hit points of damage, and I cannot find my pencil for the life of me. I'm gonna pause and go grab a pencil. Oh, no, here it is. Never mind. So we ran away from the spider. The spider is still alive, but we survived, and that means a hit point and an XP for each of us. Now, unfortunately, because we didn't search that, the sword might be in there possibly. So we can't rule that out. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is still 56 unexplored rooms. So I'm just going to find, where did I put that? There we go. So I'm just going to mark a U on that, saying this is unexplored. U equals unsearched. Okay, now 47 though is searched. All right, cool. And Phineas, sorry you are down to current hit points of 8 instead of your original 10. Still not terrible. That's about as well as we could have hoped. Oh gosh. All right. Sometimes when you just pull a stat block out, it's not going to be balanced. That just happens. All right. I mean, I could have made a different monster, I suppose, but all right. So slam the door, run out. We're all okay. Next thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and pull out our map again. Right, so we just decided we are not searching this room yet. Move this so you can actually possibly see it. Right, so we're not searching this room yet. We've already searched this one. We're all clear here. So we continue following out. Right. And then it looks like the next thing we come to is room number 51. So let's go ahead and go into room number, is it 51 or 31? Oh, it's 31. Let me look more closely. My eyes are not very good. 41 years old. Okay, it's 31. 31. All right. Right. So, room number 31, we are entering that one. This is a much larger room. It looks like it is 14 by 14. So, I'm going to redraw this. It's actually a much larger room than what I had originally drawn. So, just go ahead and wipe this down. 14, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 that way, so I need 3 more. Let's do like so. All right. And then 14 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's one more here. It's kind of understood. There we go. So just understand that there's some here off the board we can't quite see. All right. That I think is that. So some up in this corner and some down in the lower. And we're coming in the middle of the top, so it'd be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it'd be right here is where the entrance is. We're coming in this way. I think Phineas is going to stay in the lead. There's Phineas. Like so. All right. And keeping the same marching order as before. All right. So we're walking into this room. So room number 31. So a little bit of a description of this one. Room 31. This north entry is an archway, so we can easily see through it. When we look through it, what we see is a stone stair sending toward the west wall and various torture devices scattered throughout the room. Well, that seems extremely pleasant. There are also 2 exits to this room on the opposite side, kind of an opposite corner. So one corner has a door, the other corner, let's see, yeah, it's a wooden door, it looks like, and the other is another archway that we can see through, which looks like it goes into another room. Also in this room, we have 9 rats, as well as some significant treasure, I would note. All right, so now looking at this, 9 rats, that's a lot of rats. Okay, let's double check my stats here. Now, the stats that I have are for giant rats, or for a rat swarm. Okay, oh, the rat swarm I like. Okay. Yeah, so I think rather than saying that there are 9 individual rats that we might have to fight, I'm going to say it's just one rat swarm. I think that that's a reasonable thing. That is one thing. Using this random dungeon generator, I just used it kind of as a generic dungeon, which means then it is not keyed to any specific, say, monster manual or something like that. The only things that I could get specific monster manuals for, I believe it was Pathfinder was one and D&D was another. I'm not using either of those. I'm using DCC instead, which balances a little bit differently than those other games do. So I'll just say there's a rat swarm. That's how I'm going to try to balance this. And this rat swarm will not be quite as bad as that um, scorpion spider was. So this is what we know about the rat swarm. Its initiative is at a +4, and it has attack is swarming bite of +1 for melee. Oh, and you can also end up getting a disease. AC is 9. Hit dice is 4d8, so I'm going to go ahead and roll that. So it is somewhat high in terms of hit dice. And that's just reflecting the fact that it's a bunch of rats that are all together. But even that, like 4 hit dice should not be outrageously bad. Okay, so 10, 13. Right, so rats in a swarm, 13. Okay, so 13 hit points of damage. What else do we need to know? Uh, it'll bite all. Okay, it bites all targets within a 20 by 20 space. So it's actually like an area effect. All right, and half damage from non-area attacks. Okay, that means it's going to be hard to kill the thing. Disease, it's a DC 5 fortitude save or an additional 1d3 damage. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. So what I really need then is kind of a large area that is going to be captured by this. So what I have that I could use, where's the rat swarm going to be? It's going to be right in the middle of the room. Let me grab some paper here. I just have here a big brown paper bag. It's it's supposed to be used for like lawn wastes, like when I mow my lawn, that kind of thing. But I can very easily just rip this up into a roughly 4 by 4 square. Okay. So this is where you see like real soloing in the moment kind of stuff. So 4 inches is that wide. Okay. Right. And I naturally, some people like love crafting stuff. So you think, oh, I'm going to fight rats. So you end up, going out and buying some minis and making the rats and so on. I, on the other hand, I'm I'm relatively cheap, in part as a function of the fact that I have several children and I want to make sure they can eat. So that means I like to do things on the cheap. Also, just like personality wise, I tend to be somewhat cheap as well. Uh, I don't know, maybe it's being kind of from the American Midwest or something like that, valuing frugality and such. Plus, in my day job, I teach economics. I kind of feel like I need to be responsible or something along those lines. All right, so here we go. That's pretty good. So I have a little 4 by 4 square there, so that'd be basically 20 feet by 20 feet. Put it roughly in the center of the room. All right. Now its movement rate is, I believe, no. Oh no, it's 40. So, so wherever we move in this room, it can probably get to us unless we like bait it into one corner and then it goes to the opposite corner. Another thing that I need to do is I need to figure out where this treasure stash is. So this treasure stash does not appear to be hidden or anything like that. So it's just there. We can see there's a treasure stash. So let me check that. Okay. What do I have here? This will work. I'm using some of my sci-fi stuff. Here we go. That looks like a treasure box, right? Sure, why not? Then we'll just kind of toss that. We were going to say there were stairs. Said there were stairs along one side. 31. Stone stair ascends toward the west wall. Various torture devices scattered throughout the room. Okay, so I'm going to say that while we know that there is not an upstairs here, but it nonetheless right, goes up to this platform, and on that platform is where the treasure chest is. All right, cool. So at this point, the question is, right, when Phineas walks through the archway, now he has the possibility here because he's not opening any doors. He might be able to sneak up on this rat swarm. feels like it would be difficult to do. So I'm going to say it's a DC 15 for him to do that. So Phineas, let's go ahead and see if you can sneak silently. He has a +3, so it's possible. 19. Oh, wow. That's awesome. So yes, so he does manage to sneak silently. So I'm guessing that this room um, provides enough kind of natural shadows. And rat swarms, I tend to take the view that they are in some way magical, right? That is magically influenced in some way. So there's some kind of spell that's leading them to act in this swarming kind of fashion. And so that being the case, they aren't necessarily reacting in the animal way, or rather some kind of spirit that is connected with them that has somehow missed the fact that Phineas is here. Right, so that means then, oh wait, we need to roll for initiative. Plus for the swarm, +2 to the party. Swarm is the red die. And they get to go first. Well, they haven't noticed us, so they're just going to be swarming in the middle of the room. There we go. Sometimes that's what happens, right? You roll for initiative, and then it turns out side that gets initiative logically wouldn't actually be doing anything, right? So Phineas gets to make the first actual move. Speed of 30 is not noticed, so can move 1, 2, 3, 4. Can move 6 spots. So he's going to kind of arrange himself this way. Okay. So it's kind of on the edge, right, of this swarm. Right, so he's not in it, so he will not be taking damage from it. But he is capable, but he can actually attack um, some of the edge of this swarm. All right, so that being the case, let's go ahead and roll for his attack. Because he's snuck up, I'm going to go ahead and let him use backstab. It's hilarious, but yeah, let's go ahead and do it. All right, so he's going to use backstab. Remember, the AC is 9. That's a fail. All right, so he sneaks up, utterly fails. Now, next behind him, right? So Phineas is done. Next behind him is Marv. Marv, right? Yes, Marv is the other thief. He's going to do the same kind of thing, just another corner, right? So Marv is going to come in and 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. And let's see. Marv is also going to try this. So his backstab is at a +1, so he's slightly better, but still. Should be hard to hit. This is a giant swarm of rats. But nope, nope, cannot hit it. Well, this happens. All right, next then would be Vilbo. He comes in. Although now he would only have 4 spots he can move because he was 2 spots behind people to start with. So he would move in 4. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess. Right. And oh wait, but he could take another move. He wouldn't want to do that. Igor and Helmet. Helmet will be first. So got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now who is it that's hurt? Phineas is. So Helmut is actually going to use his ability. Let's see, Martha's gone, and so has Bilbo. Helmut is going to try to use his ability to lay on hands, provide a little bit of healing to Phineas, since Phineas is a little bit hurt. Right, so we're going to try laying on of hands. So lay on hands, we roll, it's at a +1. And that's a 16. Oh, 16 is great. The 16, it means he would, they are the same alignment, right? No, they are not. They're adjacent alignments. Okay, but there's still 2 dice that he gets to heal. So a thief, I believe, has a d6. Right, 2 dice. Okay, well, he just only down 2 points, so he would just automatically get those. So I'm not going to bother rolling that one. All right, so Phineas back up to 10. Downside, I'm going to say that this probably is going to catch the attention of the rats. Okay. Igor also is going to move in and is, I think, going to do a similar thing. Do we have anybody else that's currently hurt? I believe Helmut himself might be down a point. Helmut is down a point, and who else? Oh, Marv is down a point. So actually, I'm gonna sneak in. Oh, but he only gets three because he was so far behind. So one, two, three. Yeah, he doesn't get close enough. I take laying on of hands to be something that is basically literal, in that you have to actually touch the person. All right, so that is that. Cool. Okay. So next round. Next round, the rats get to move first. I think the obvious thing is they're going to try to move in such a way that they're going to try to do damage to as many of these people as possible. And I think that makes sense for them to move then, because they can move a total of, what is it, 40? So it's like 8 spots, but they don't need to do that. Right? So we've got one, two, three. That's it. So there we go. So we are, I believe that is the correct uh, configuration. Okay, these giant rats are now going to be attacking simultaneously Vilbo, Helmut, and Phineas. So let's roll for each of them. Okay, the rat swarm it gets a +1 on this. All right, it doesn't do a lot of damage, which is a big plus. Okay, so first against Phineas, it gets a 6. That's not good enough. All right, then against Helmut, they get an 8, which I believe is also not good enough. Yeah, it is not good enough. You need a 10. And then finally against Vilbo, 12, there'd be a 13, and 13 against Vilbo is good enough. So Vilbo is going to take 1 point of damage, knocking him down to a 5, plus also gets disease, potentially. So the disease here, remember you roll, it's a fortitude save, a DC 15, which that's not too hard. Fortitude save, he gets a +1 on it? No, +2. +2 on this. Easily, easily gets it. Okay. So you don't have to worry about disease. Nice. Okay. Now back around to us. Well, I mean, the obvious thing is we want to get out of this swarm, although it's just going to keep moving around. And we're not too bad off at this point, right? So I think what we're going to do, um, hmm, let's go one person at a time. So I think Phineas is just going to be fighting rats, right? So at this point, we are not backstabbing anymore. It's just a plain old attack, right? So he's using his pitchfork, which he's reasonably good at. It does a D8 of damage if it hits. So let's roll that. 12. That would actually be a hit. So that means he gets to do 1d8 of damage. No plus on this. So 6 points of damage against the rat swarm. So he's just swinging this pitchfork around and stabbing right and left these rats, because he just killed about half of them that are in this swarm. And he's tired of being swarmed by rats. Meanwhile, Marv sees that there is a box off to the side and is going to run for that box. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He got to the box, so I'm going to say they get the treasure. All right. So he gets the treasure out of that. That treasure, what it includes, there's a good reason that I sent him after it, because it is 800 silver pieces, so equivalent of 80 gold, and a dragon horn scepter engraved with noble imagery, worth 3,000 gold pieces. Nice. That's going to do quite a bit for us in terms of making sure we have good equipment when we get back. All right. So that was Marv's move. Next, Vilbo. Vilbo is also going to try attacking here. All right, he has a -2 with it. Oh crap, he has a missile attack is what he's better at, isn't it? And the missile attack is be a javelin. He's stuck here. Yeah. What does he want to do? Well, it makes sense. He should back up. Okay. I mean, he can do this, right? So he's going to back up. 1, 2, 3. All right. And that should be enough that he should be able to throw the javelin without a problem, although that does provoke an attack of opportunity. Oh, which misses. Okay. So he is going to go ahead and attack here. There's at a +2 now because he is using he's throwing this javelin. He has three of them, so he gets three shots total. Ooh, that was an invalid roll. 11 plus 2, that's definitely going to hit. And the javelin does 1d6 damage. 1d6 plus strength, which actually is worse. Oh well. Just lost it. All right. So the fact that he's a relatively weak throw is going to make a difference here. I rolled a 3. Right, so 3 minus 3 would be 0, but you do always do at least 1 point of damage. So that would be down to 6. It's not terrible, I guess. Okay, so Bilbo is done. Next, we have our friend Helmut, who is in the midst of all of this. And he's going to attack as well, using his club. Right, so again at +0. Once he rolls 9 or higher, we're good. We're good. Awesome. Got an 11. Then the club does 1d4 plus strength damage. I need to pull out a d4. There they are. Okay. So it's 1d4 plus strength. And his strength has no modifiers, it's just 1d4 damage. And it looks like that's a 2. Okay. That was not easy to read. I'm going to set aside that die and pull out a different one for the future. Okay. Right, so 2 points of damage. All right, we're making good progress. We're making good progress here. Next, then, so Helmut is done. Igor would be the last one. He is still within melee range, and he does have his staff that he can use. And so he's going to use this and swing the staff, that kind of thing. Okay. Is that a -1? Remember, he needs a 9 or more total. Got a 5. -1 is a 4. That'd be a miss. Right. So Igor is done. So I think we're doing reasonably well at this point. So now the question is, right, will this swarm retreat given that now they have lost more than half of the swarm? It has, like, well, they're still swarming in this area and biting whoever happens to be in that area. There are far fewer alive rats at this point. So that is the question. Do they make their morale check? So the morale check, I remember what it is. I think it's 11 is what you need. And they have a will of -2, so they're fairly likely to run off. Let's see. But they rolled a 20. So yeah, they're definitely in it for the long haul then. So they're going to go ahead and start attacking whoever happens to be in there. There's really no way for them to add more people to where the storm can attack without losing somebody. So they're just going to attack who's there. So first, Phineas. That is a fumble. So, so fumbles. Although I don't know that fumbles actually apply to the monsters, do they? I'm going to say it doesn't just because I don't want to slow things down too much. Yeah, I'm going to say that because I don't think they have a fumble die. If they don't have a fumble die, then it wouldn't apply. All right, so I guess that's that. Okay, so Phineas is just a miss then. Helmut, they got a 10. Is that enough for Helmut? I think it might be. Helmut's AC with a 10. They get 10 plus 1. So that is a point against Helmut. So Helmut is down another point. Oh, so he's down 12, actually. All right. Then their damage. He has to roll for Fortitude save. He does get a +2 on this. That's a 9. 9 is enough to fight off the disease. So, fortunately, their disease is fairly weak, it seems. Next, then, back to our players. Okay, so what are the players doing? We'll just go through the line. Phineas, first, is just going to do a simple attack. This is, again, at a +0. And 4 is not good enough. Marv is going to come back into the action. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That is touching the corner here, though it's hard to tell. Right. And is going to, swing. He actually has a scimitar, so he's going to go ahead and swing that scimitar. At a 6 plus 0, so it'd be a miss. Bilbo is not in at the moment. Oh, right. But he's using a missile attack. So he's going to throw his second javelin out of 3. And he can recover these after the battle, so it's not a big deal. But 14. Awesome. That is definitely a hit. which means then the javelin is going to do, again, it's uh, d6 minus 3. Oh, it's 2 points of damage. That's a little bit better than last time. Actually down to 2 hit points. So that's good. Then Helmut. Helmut, what is Helmut doing? Just an attack. Okay. All right, and that is a 9, so it's barely a hit, but a hit is a hit, right? So this is with a club, right? So he has his club that he's trying to whack, just whack-a-moling these rats, and does 1 point of damage. So, not terrible. Right, now we're down to just 1 hit point left. So, Igor. Igor goes ahead and tries to take a shot, and does also manage to just barely wait. No, is that a -1? So he does not hit. Oh well. All right. So the rats live for one more round. At which point they, and this one rat, I suppose, is really getting around. Okay. So he's going to attack both Phineas and Helmut, who are within range, and that's it. So Phineas first, definitely a miss, and Helmut is a hit. Okay. Right, so it'd be a point on Helmut. Plus, Helmut has to check for disease. Nope, we're good. So Helmut just takes another 1 point of damage, so he's down to 11. He's my highest hit point character, so we're okay. Okay. Next thing then, we're all going to try to attack that stupid rat. Phineas taking the shot. And rolling underneath the thing. 6 plus 0 is not 9. Marv then also attacking. Oh, I think I oddly just lost my connection to my one camera. It's reconnecting. Let's give it a second here. I'll help it. That should do it. There we go. We're back. Okay. Yeah, I really like this thing that I'm using. It's a nice program. All right. And you occasionally will lose connections or whatever, but my battery's also somewhat low. All right, so let's see. Marv. 7 plus 0 is a miss. Bilbo. A plus 2. 11 plus 2 is a hit. This will be enough. Is it overkill? It is definitely a little bit of overkill. Not that much because he's fairly weak. We did manage to kill the rat swarm. So, I think that is that. So now let's go ahead and search this room. Right, so this is room 31. Let's search this room to see if we happen to have found sword. So remember, if I roll a 1, then we have found the sword, otherwise we have not. 14, we definitely have not. Okay. All right. Well, that's all right. And there we go. I just realized we lost track of a bunch of my thing. Okay. So room 31 has been cleared. Wonderful. All right. So I think this is a good place to call it because this is a fairly long video as it is. So at this point, right, we are all in reasonably good shape. We did gain 2. Wait, no, we didn't. The first one, did we take damage? We did take damage. Okay. So we did gain, I believe it's 2 XP probably, because this one was also fairly light in terms of the damage we took. Right. So everybody needs 2 XP. That's not going to be enough to level anybody up. We have then eliminated one more room from the possibility of where this sword is in this big dungeon. Um, so next time, I guess we're going to just keep looking, see if we can find it. All right. So then, I suppose this is a good time to say, this is Prof E, signing out.